So John Donohoe, election candidate in the most recent general election. Thanks a million for joining me again.
Thanks, Fergus.
How did the election go for you?
It didn't go according to plan. I would have loved to be part of this upcoming, the new Dáil, the 34th Dáil, but it's not to be. But I can't say that I was completely happy with the amount of votes I got. I've yet to see the papers to see second, third and fourth. You know, I'm not saying that that's still going to get me in, but it would make me maybe a lot happier. When I went out to the count centre, I got 100 and I had 114 votes, and within a short space of time that was brought down to 94. I don't know exactly how they miscounted 114 in the first place, but anyway, look at that. It is what it is. I didn't get in. But I got a message out there that I wanted to get out, and I am very happy with that. In the course of the campaign, I saw people taking photographs of the posters. I was told that visitors to the country were taking photos of the posters. So them posters and the message has gone not just in Ireland but worldwide, I'd say.
Right.
So not over the moon with the result, but at the same time, it hasn't cost me a night's sleep or an hour's sleep. As I say, it is what it is.
Right.
This is my second time trying, hasn't worked, and all what's left now is the presidency.
This is the election year for the presidency, isn't it?
It is actually. It is. Yeah,
2025.
it is. No, I don't think I'd be going for that. No. I had a few flyers ready. I actually, over the months and years, I collected. Well, the last 2 years I collected posters as well. Mm-hmm. So I had a good amount of posters. Compared to the last time, I had a good amount of posters. In many ways, I was more prepared, but still 2.5 weeks. It's very little when you want to get them posters up. By the time they called it, beforehand you can't put the posters up, and then by the time they called it, the polls were full. So
yes.
I had to make do with, side street polls. But look, that's okay as well. A lot of people would have seen the posters as well.
And we're actually only across the river from, I think, a particular stretch where we met a couple of days before the election, and you were out putting posters up with a couple of your friends. But they I don't think lasted.
No, that's right. Yeah, we were over there near the hospital there. There's a stretch of the river, and the traffic stop every couple of seconds when there's a lot of traffic. We went and put up the posters, and I think it was 15 posters put up, and they were put up very strategically. They were, really well, and went back the next day. They were gone. So they
the
were.
lads didn't wait around to take them down.
No, they didn't, and I'll have to say the girls as well. We have to be inclusive here. So they went down, and I mean, it could have got me another 50, 80 votes. I don't know, but at the same time, they felt so threatened by this message that they had to take them down overnight. And the same happened along one of the quays here as well. I had up to 15, 20 posters. A good 14, 15 of them were taken down, and there was 4 damaged. So look, it was a message that they didn't want to hear, and I'm glad I put it out there.
Right.
I'm glad I put it out there.
And did you see discussions of the issues you were bringing up, just to outline them? A lot of it had to do about gender.
Yeah.
And if I can remember off the top of my head, your posters were, what was it? Men cannot get pregnant.
Men can't get pregnant.
Your uncle can
there's
never
only
be your
two
auntie.
genders. Your uncle can never be your auntie. And
did you see that conversation in a broader context across the country, or did you feel like you were the only person even mentioning these kinds of things?
I saw Aintu had an ad, I think, in one of the Catholic newspapers, reintroduce common sense, something along them lines, or we're a party of common sense. But on the television, no, there was nothing. I don't believe there was a mention of it on the television. And it is a big topic, and it probably should have been brought up. And there was probably other topics that should have been brought up, but this one wasn't. There's a gentleman at the moment, Enoch Burke, and he's in jail because of all this nonsense he is. So it is a big topic. I mean, people don't want to be locked up for this topic. You know, it's just ridiculous. And I heard one of the Healy Rays today speaking about it, that they're going to knock this whole thing on the head and reintroduce common sense, just have down-to-earth policies discussed, and that's it. And you know, in 5 years' time, if the government do a good job, there'll be no need for people like me to go out and try and become a TD. I'm happy enough to work at what I'm doing.
Right. So what's your sense of the support on the ground for Enoch Burke? I know you're only one person among many, but what's your sense of that?
There's huge support for Enoch Burke. I mean, you're talking to people one by one, absolutely they support him. They don't come out openly and support him, but there is a lot of support even on social media. There's even, I think, school children supporting him. There was a video up there a while ago and they were saying free Enoch Burke. They were at some sort of party. So there's huge support for Enoch Burke, because no one, I mean, people are walking on eggshells because of this rubbish they are. And I think he does deserve an apology from the government, and as does his family as well.
And have you ever spoken to parents whose children are saying things about gender, or I might be not the same gender as I've been assigned at birth, as they say? Have you met any parents like that, and or had any conversations with even children who are facing this? Or
no. This has only started out the last, I don't know, 8-10 years, and it's the public have allowed themselves being brainwashed. Parents have allowed themselves being brainwashed. It's a topic I don't think you can sit down and treat seriously. It's an illusion.
So it's a conversation you wouldn't even entertain?
Well, if a parent come up to me and discussed it, absolutely I would. I wouldn't discuss it with a child.
Right.
But if a parent did, I would discuss it. And I'd find out when did this happen, and where did they start, what television programs are they watching, etc., in order to come up with this thought that a boy might be a girl or a girl might be a boy. I mean, this has never happened in history, and it's a lot got to do with fake news within the actual media. So it has, and programs that they bring out. I mean, Coronation Street or something, for example, bringing all this into the fore, and it's just a brainwashing, and it's a way of controlling people. If you can control people about this, issues like this, you can control them about nearly anything. You can keep them quiet about anything you can. One time there would have been huge marches against the bicycle shed, the price of it, and people have gone so quiet that they did speak out about it, but there would have been a march organised, and it would have been, the people would have gone to, for want of a better word, to war on this, but they've been controlled by obscene laws to keep quiet on bigger issues they are,
One obvious memory, the clearest memory in my lifetime of a big kind of a mass campaign was the water charges protests.
Yeah.
Were you up in Dublin at that time, or do you have any memory? That seems like the last time I remember a mass opposition to anything was generated in Ireland.
I wasn't born, Fergus. I was up in Dublin at them marches, and it was fantastic. It sent out a very clear message to the government. I mean, we had politicians saying that there's going to be no charges, water charges, and then when they were voted in, there was going to be water charges. But it was a massive. There was, I think, 2 meetings up in Dublin, and one of them had close to 100,000. And it was well organised, and it was a great day, and it was great to see so many Irish people together protesting.
And you don't see that kind of a movement happening anytime soon. I think you're saying people are too silent.
People are too silent, and unfortunately, even myself, I'm doing my protesting online, and I think we got to get offline sometimes, or once in a while, and send a strong message out, to the government when they're just messing, when they're just basically messing.
So time, you said the campaign was only 2.5 weeks long. You'd been kind of doing your own planning behind the scenes for a longer period than that.
Maybe,
right.
The last year maybe, yeah.
So when it comes to the money, what did this cost you roughly, the campaign?
I'd say the posters alone, and I got them before the election date was called, so I'd say I got them in maybe 3 batches. I'd say up to €5,000.
And you've no regrets about that?
No, I don't actually, no, I don't. Not that money's grown on trees or anything, but I've no regrets, because I think it was a message that needed to get out. And I hopefully would give other people, that strength to just speak up against this nonsense. And no regrets on that. And I saw a bishop being asked recently by one of the Burke family, and she was very respectful to him. And he was afraid to say that there was only 2 genders. And when a church leader is so scared, it reflects nearly the whole of society as well. I mean, if the church is afraid to say that man and woman and children are a family, there's a major problem. There's a major problem. And when politicians are afraid to say that as well, and even when teachers are afraid to say that a family is a man and a woman and children, there's a major problem. There is. I mean, if you won't speak up on the basics, you're not going to speak up if things get worse.
Now, you said that you, speaking to people one-on-one, they support Enoch Burke. Obviously, the way his family talk to people when it's being filmed, it's quite combative.
Yeah.
Do you think people support that as well?
It's quite combative at times, and they're just going along and learning, I think. And I've seen them other times, and they're very good, and they're very, very respectful. I mean, sometimes maybe they needed to be. They were talking to Simon Harris one day, and they were. But other times I've seen videos, and they've been very good and very fair. And I mean, their son's unjustly in prison. If you can't have unjust or just anger over that, there's a problem.
And I did notice, like you said, they changed their tone a bit when they were speaking to Archbishop Martin. It was Eamon Martin, that's who it was, Archbishop Eamon Martin.
Yeah, they did, because I mean they are people of God, and they recognise that the bishop is the head of the Catholic Church within Ireland, and it's a good. They were respectful, but they were respectful towards other people as well. I don't think that all their videos have been the lot of them charging down the road with and none of them have been them charging down the road with weapons. But
it's a good point, though. They have been utterly physically peaceful, which is important to point out.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, the father's in prison for not hitting someone. He actually didn't. He didn't actually hit anybody, and he's in prison. And it's just like they're making examples of them. They're making examples, and I think it's very, very sad that the authorities will go that far, that they would do what they're doing to the Burke family. We can be very thankful to that family in many ways for the stance they are taking. Whether we like the approach they take or not is another thing. But there's a man in prison and it's not because of the court order. It boils down to in the school, he wouldn't call a boy a girl or a girl a boy, and that's what it's down to. And he made a stand on it, and he made a stand from a religious point of view, but it's scientific as well. I mean, science is clear, and that's it. And that's the way it is.
All right, John Donohoe, thanks a million for your time.
Thank you, Fergus. Thank you. Thanks very much.